Alrighty, good morning everybody. Welcome to day 6 of the 10 in 20 challenge. So I am up and it is about 8 o'clock in the morning actually. So I actually made that head of cauliflower that I bought. And so I made it, cooked in the microwave and then in the stove, and I squished it. And then after I squished it, I'm going to add a very small amount. I'm actually measuring it. I don't usually measure anything, but I'm measuring it. I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of refried beans. So these are actually still dehydrated. And what I'm going to do is just put them on there and let the warmth from the cauliflower make them just a little bit softer. These have a little bit of sodium in there. It's 350 milligrams of sodium in the entire 1/3 of a cup. So I'm not too worried about that. I think the flavor is going to be awesome. So I'm going to have some beans and some cauliflower for breakfast, and it'll be delicious. So that's what I'm gonna go do. And I will talk to you guys again later. Bye. Alrighty everybody, so that cauliflower was actually pretty tasty with the beans in it. I really enjoyed that. So I am going to make, it's called Buenas Noches Black Bean Soup, and it's actually from, I believe, day 9, but I'm going to make it today so that I have some food to eat for the next few days. I really liked that, having a big pot of soup to go to and eat from. That was really nice. So this recipe is pretty easy. I am actually adding ingredients, some more of some of the ingredients, and adding some ingredients that are not actually in there to the soup, only because I'm making it, it says it's for 4 servings. Well, I'd like to make it fairly hearty 4 servings, and I'm just adding vegetables to it. I'm not actually adding anything that's going to cause it to have like extra, like I'm not going to add extra beans, or I'm not going to add that type of thing. So first things first, you need a small onion chopped, which I don't know if you can see or not, but it's right there. And it's quite smelly onion, my goodness. So you need an onion chopped, a cup of celery, and a cup of carrots. So there's my carrots down the bottom, and there's the celery, and there actually is more than, like, that's 2 cups, and then 4 cups, and 5. So anyway, yeah, there's more of the vegetables in there than what it calls for, which is totally fine. And then also in the pot is going to go, I put in 1 tablespoon of chili powder, and 1 teaspoon of cumin. It's actually the other way around. You're supposed to have a whole bunch more cumin and a little bit of chili powder, but I don't really like cumin very much. So this is what I'm gonna do. There's a whole bunch, this little mound right here is a mound of garlic. So there's that. So this is what's going into the pot right now to cook. And I'm going to put it in there with, it calls for 4 cups of water. I'm going to put it in there with 6 cups of water. And it also calls to put some of the beans in there. So it says to put in 2 cups of the black beans. So I know that each can of black beans has 1.5 cups in it. So I'm going to put 1 whole can in there, and then this one was actually open in the refrigerator already. So there's about 2/3 of a can in here. So I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to let that cook for, it says to cook it for 12 minutes. So that sounds fine. I'm going to go ahead and let that happen. Actually, sorry, reduce heat and simmer for 15 minutes. Okay. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll come back and chat with you about what it is that I'm doing that's a little bit different than what the recipe actually calls for. So stay tuned. All right, so while that is cooking, I am putting together the next step in the recipe. So this calls for blending some food together. So what you do is you put, there's only supposed to be 2 things in here. The rest of your black beans and a cup of salsa. So like I said, my husband makes salsa for us. And what I wanted to do, because you also are going to be adding, you're supposed to add 1 cup of corn and 1 cup of diced tomatoes. I don't think this was on my list of things to have to purchase, so I'm glad I have some, but we have organic of both. So anyway, you're only supposed to use a cup, and I know there's 1.5 cups in each of those cans, but that's fine. I'm going to use what's in there anyway. Or maybe there's more than that. How much is in here? 1/2 cup times 3 is 1.5 cups. A little over 1.5 cups. Anyway, whatever, close enough. So I put a little bit of corn in here and a little bit of diced tomatoes. So I'm going to blend all of this up to put into the soup. And then, so that's gonna go in the soup. At the same time, after the 15 minutes is over, I'm going to put the rest of the corn in. I'm going to put the rest of the diced tomatoes in. I'm also going to add some cabbage and carrots, so we'll have some extra texture in there. I didn't want those to cook for the entire amount of time. I don't want them to get soggy or anything. I'm going to put some enoki mushrooms in there. So I've already got those chopped up, but they're kind of not convenient for me to pick up and show you. So there you go, enoki mushrooms. And at the end, after everything is all cooked, I'm going to stir in some spinach. I think that that will go well in the soup, and I think that it will taste just fine. So that is everything that goes in this soup. And I'm going to just cook it at the end. It's not, you guys don't need to see that part. It's not that exciting, but once you put everything together, you're supposed to let it cook for another 15 minutes. So when that is all said and done, I will show you guys what it looks like, and we'll do a taste test and see if this is a recipe that we're gonna need to keep in the reserves for next time. So, exciting. All right, see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, so the soup is done. Just looking at it, it's a lot thinner than I expected it to be. I guess I was thinking more of a black bean soup that's really hearty and really thick. So I'm actually probably going to take some of it out and blend it and put it back to thicken it up a little bit, which that'll work out just fine. So it's very hot. Oh yeah, you can't really see that. Anyway, it is very, very hot, but it smells really good. Tastes a lot like the chili, except not nearly as hearty. Much more of a soup than a stew type consistency. Very similar in flavor though. It's good. It's excellent. I would totally make this again. Like I said, I'm going to take some out and blend it and put it back. Or maybe I'll just put my immersion blender in there and blend it a little bit. Just because I'd like it to be thicker than it is. And yeah, otherwise it tastes good though. The flavor is very nice. If my husband was eating this, he would complain that the celery's not quite completely done. Personally, I like it the way that it is. I think it tastes delicious. Yeah. Man, this is actually pretty good. So this would actually be really tasty if you could have it with some, you okay over there? If you could have it with some corn tortilla shells or something like that, or maybe some corn tortilla shells that you make into chips, that would be very tasty too. But this is good. I would highly recommend this. I'm probably gonna have some of this for lunch. Except I need to have a salad for lunch. I have that big, huge container of mixed greens out there that I need to do something with. So, anyway, this is highly doable. I would recommend this. You could definitely make it hotter if you needed to put some sriracha in it or something, if you like really, really spicy. Personally, that's not necessary for me at all. But yeah, this is a good one. So, I'll be eating this all week, which is not probably exciting for you guys to see something new, but it tastes good. So, excellent. I will see you guys at lunchtime. Alrighty guys, so I know that I said I would see you at lunchtime, but I decided to take a nap instead. Lunch didn't seem nearly as important to me as taking a nap. So I took a nap, I did not have lunch, so now it's gonna be supper time and I'm actually kind of hungry, so that's a good thing. So this is not on the 6 through 10 list of meal options. However, this is totally Nutritarian friendly. This might be a little bit more calorie-wise than what he would normally recommend. I'm not 100% sure, but I made hummus platters for supper tonight. And so what I do is that we buy hummus rather than making our own. The hummus that we buy is this Oasis brand. This one happens to be the roasted garlic. If it didn't have the roasted garlic in it, I would just put some garlic on top of the hummus platter, no big deal. But we buy this one because there's no oil in it, like no oil in it. It uses, yes, tahini, as in sesame seeds. It uses actual parts of plants, but it doesn't add extra virgin olive oil or anything like that, which is kind of nice because a lot of them do. So there's 3 different ways that I make hummus platter. So one hummus platter is for my boys that have allergies to all sorts of foods. And theirs I actually do garbanzo beans and all sorts of stuff. So if you can see that, it's got the hummus that I made, and it's got lentils, and it has the scallions on it, and it's got other things on it. So theirs is kind of pretty easy to make, but they really, really enjoy it. This is one that is taco. My husband made this one because only one of our kiddos wanted a taco one this time. And so basically it has hummus on it, and it has cumin and chili powder and black beans and corn and red onions, and it's got some little bit of salsa and a little bit of avocado on it, maybe some nutritional yeast. I'm not 100% sure what spices my husband used on it. But then mine, the ones that I made for everybody else, it's called a Greek hummus platter. This is totally my own interpretation of what it should taste like. This isn't somebody else's recipe. So, little layer of hummus, and then you sprinkle on some smoked paprika and some oregano and some nutritional yeast, and then you go for toppings. And so this also has lentils on it. Sometimes I've used black beans, lentils, whichever. There's a small amount of red onions chopped up. There are, let's see, really finely chopped olives. So I buy the olives in the can that are really, really, really super chopped up. And then the avocado Oh, I already put it on the table. So avocado, what I do is I take an avocado and I put it in the blender and I put water with it. And that's it. And I blend it with enough water to make it so it's super creamy. And then I put it in a little squirt bottle, and so I can make it look pretty on top of supper. So isn't that pretty looking? So this one's mine. I used a little bit less than what the kids have. And then for mine, we usually eat this with some kind of crackers or chips or something along those lines. For mine, I'm going to eat it with cucumbers this time to enhance the greenery. Isn't that cool? So anyway, I'll take a picture of this so you guys can see it. I need to chop up that cucumber real quick, and then we're gonna go and sit and have supper. So I hope you guys had a fabulous day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.